Yo, what's up, man? Sorry that I'm late.
No, no worries at all. D couldn't make it. The other D, she couldn't make it as well. She was feeling kind of under the weather, so it's just us today. But we do have a pretty cool guest that's coming next week. I told you guys in the group chat. I won't say it publicly because I want it is confirmed, but I think it'd be cooler to announce on the next space graphic. But we have probably, I would say, our biggest guest coming next week. So that would be. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be awesome.
For sure.
But back to Solama. How's it going?
It's going great as always. Happy to be here. But yeah, going back to what you originally were talking about earlier about Tron, one of the things you have to think about and take into consideration is that the team behind Tron is really pushing and marketing the Sundog. Basically, it's like Pump Fun on Solana, and they're really doing this, and it basically to get attention to the chain. It really reminds me of Brett on base. They're trying to get the fees essentially for bringing people onto their chain, and you're already starting to see that if you just have marketing for the sake of marketing, and you're marketing what I would say is an inferior product compared to Solana, eventually the people are going to migrate back to where I say the market forces will eventually dictate. And so I think that right now there is a trend right now towards Tron, but I think that as people realize that the Solana is a better blockchain, especially for meme coins, I think a lot more people will move back to Solana.
Well,
And
I
also,
think
yeah, sorry.
no. I was gonna say I 1,000% agree, and I think especially with Tron, like it's so obvious that they got, in my opinion, desperate. Like they have been paying like tier two, tier three KOLs to positively talk about Tron undisclosed for months. Like the amount of like botted accounts that I see saying, "Good morning, what are we buying on Tron today?" Like for the last like 4 months, it's like we're not buying honestly shit on Tron today. Like nobody really cares about Tron. Like they've been trying this for so long, and I think it's gotten to the point where they've already drained so much money. They're just like, all right, we're going all in on this. We have to make this work. So I think that's what we're seeing right now is almost like them being desperate. But obviously, it's going to be very short lived. Solana is a way better product. So I just wanted to chime in and agree with you there.
Yeah, and I did also want to agree with essentially what Luigi said from Myro, is that right now, also in the meme space, I mean, there's literally thousands of new memes being created every single day. Like the whole ecosystem is very diluted. Even like even like all the $1 million market cap coins out there, most of them are not going to be surviving for the long term, because really what matters is the community. If they don't have a community behind it, they're essentially going to go to zero, because the whole marketplace is going to consolidate a little bit unless you have a banger meme based off of some news that comes out. So I think that we at Solama and Myro and a few other projects I see on here, we're very much poised to outlive this sideways movement until we get to early 2025, when the bull run really starts, and thus alts and thus the meme coins really explode as well. And again, it all comes down to community. Here at Solama, we're a hostile CTO. We basically kicked out the scamming dev because we didn't like what he was doing. He was basically bringing down the reputation of Solama, and so the community rose up and took over the whole brand. We took over the socials. We took over everything. And so we're now a completely community run program, and it really shows, because we really like to support each other. We like to interact with each other, play games with each other. We even created our own task bot, which was in-house built for Telegram, in which members of the community reward other members of the community by donating and having people complete tasks. Just recently we've had 6,000 people interact with this task bot, and we've actually handed out a total of 18,000 Solama just for people doing basic tasks, such as posting on Telegram, posting on CMC, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really a community where we try to give back to each other and support each other however we can. In fact, most of the conversations, even in our main Telegram channel, aren't even really about Solana. It's really about like giving investment advice. And as Luigi said, yes, we are absolutely in love with Solana. We're going to fight for Solana, but we also don't say, hey, invest everything into Solana. It'll just make you crazy, because when it's pumping, you're going to be stressed. When it's dropping, you're going to be stressed. So never have your eggs all in one basket. And we try to help each other with that. We try to help people with any wallet issues that they have. investment advice, trying to get an understanding of how that market actually works, especially meme coins, because that's just it doesn't make normal economic sense for meme coins, because it's not economic sense. You're not building an actual product. You're building a community, and that community is based off emotions, and people buy on emotions. And so there's no real economic model that can say, hey, this meme coin is going to do great because of X, Y, and Z.
I agree 100%. And I think like the community part is so important. Like you see projects that they get really good market makers and they're able to, bring, especially on, chains like ETH and Base where, they're able to get these market makers, they get up to 20, 30, 40 million, which is great. They're getting to these high levels, but at the end of the day, they don't have real communities behind them. It's all just kind of, they're kind of temporarily inflating the market cap, hoping that, these community members are just going to see that high, market cap and then kind of on board. But what really happens is they're sitting at, 20, 25 mil. At the end of the day, they have like 200 real holders and it's just, downfall. So I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, and again, with the community too, the way I see it is that community was essentially the first frontier. As we as a species, we build communities. We're able to build society from that community, and we're able to build, everything from community. And now we're getting to the point where AI is now starting to, question, am I interacting with a human or not? And I feel like we're going to be more drawn to people, like real life people and people of similar interests. And I think, and so I was never into memes, but like over the past few years, I've come to realize their importance, especially again, as the world becomes more connected, we become more disconnected individually. And having these memes is a great place for people to come together for a common idea, whether it's just for the lulls. It really is a nice and great space for people. And the thing is, once you build the community, you essentially have a user base to do something with. So rather than a normal business product where on like another crypto project where they're trying to get users, with a meme coin that has an active community, you already have users. If you develop a product, you already have users for your product. And so I really think that meme coins are basically the final frontier in the development of our species.
I agree.
But anyways, did you have any questions for us?
Yeah, so I guess just to start and kind of kick into Solama, so first, how long have you guys been out for? I know I first started working with you maybe 2 months ago, so I know it's been at least 2 months, and at that time you're at a pretty high market cap. So could you go into like the history of Solama, when it originally TGE'd, maybe when that takeover happened, and just kind of some history about you guys?
Yeah, so the coin was officially launched on January 1st of this year, 2024. And we basically went up to 11 million market cap, but then the original creator of the coin essentially stopped supporting it. But at that point, a lot of people had already come into the token wanting to support the community. And so we had people, with real world marketing experience, able to create a merch shop, and all these other, running businesses and whatnot. So they started basically taking over the project and started like promoting it and putting together a real marketing package. And eventually, all of our stars aligned, and come in early March, we basically went from 2 million market cap all the way up to 120 million market cap within a matter of 3 or 4 days. It was ridiculous. It was wild. And in fact, most of the people who are still on the team were here pre that pump. So, a lot of us didn't cash out. A lot of us believe in the being a part of this community and being here for the longevity of it, because we realize 120 market cap's nothing for our token, and especially with the name branding that we have and the community that we have behind it. But the actual takeover officially took place on June 1st, when we finally cut off the minter of the token.
I love it. And since then, could you go into, what you guys have done, what your kind of main, strong points are, any listings, just, kind of what is Solama?
Yeah, so we've only been around for about 9 months. Unfortunately, we're not as successful as Myro in ways of listings, but we have been listed on 9 different exchanges. We've also launched an NFT, which allows access to an exclusive Telegram. there you can get more direct access to the main people who are working on the team. You can basically vote on what happens with the project. But more than anything, the token, all the proceeds goes back into the project. In fact, because this is a complete community project, every single bit of revenue that the project generates goes to our community wallet, which is a multi-sig wallet. So several members of the community have to sign off on any transaction in order for it to go forward. We've also, again, like I mentioned, created the task bot in-house, and we are currently working on additional revenue streams just to ensure the longevity of this project, so that essentially, if you don't have revenue, you're essentially relying entirely on donations. And so if you want a longevity for your project, this is, again, for the newer meme coins out there, you do need to develop some sort of stream of revenue. Otherwise, every single project does have recurring costs, and eventually the donors will eventually dry up. So that's what we're working on right now. We're trying to work on revenue streams while the market is kind of going sideways, so that it sets us up so that we can do marketing, exchange listings, but more importantly, give back to our community, when the bull run actually does start.
Sweet, I love it. And then going into future plans, say here in the next week, months, what are some things people in the audience, holders, can look forward to in the upcoming months?
Well, in the upcoming months, like one of our main revenue streams plans to go live. We're currently in the testing phase. It is basically going to be a Solama themed casino. That's one of the revenue streams that we're going live. And the idea is essentially that 100% of the proceeds, again, goes right back to the project, which is apparently unique when it comes to online casinos, especially with tied to a token. Again, all the entire team is community, and so all the proceeds will go to the community, and then we want to take that money and pay for marketing, pay for our recurring expenses, as well as give back to the community by buying up the token and adding to liquidity on exchanges and adding ourselves to more exchanges. But in regards to future listings, right now with our market cap being down and the whole ecosystem going sideways, we've kind of held off on listings. We've been approved for several tier 1 listings, but right now it just doesn't make financial sense. So right now we're holding off on that and building up the revenue, building up the community, building up content, and just having a good time.
Sweet, I love it. And then this is going to be from left field, and this is for any of the projects on the stage, probably especially. Oh, Myra's gone. I guess so. So mostly for you, just running a higher market cap project. What would you say is like the reason that holders and the sentiment in general is that exchanges are bullish? Like, for me personally, I've seen that sometimes exchanges can be more hurtful. Like I feel like for me, sometimes it can even be bearish news. Like, what would you say the reason that most people see that as bullish is?
So the primary reason that it's bullish is, one, it brings in new buyers to drive up the price. The only thing is, going to your point of being bearish, that could also be used as exit liquidity for larger holders. The only reason that it is technically bullish is that you are essentially spreading out the supply, because you're essentially locking in a portion of the coin into liquidity. You're essentially somewhat burning it temporarily. That's really the only real bullish sentiment to an actual exchange listing. Exchange listings aren't the end all be all, and our holders, or at least most of our holders, realize that long-term vision, another listing isn't going to be what makes or breaks the project.
That's what I'm thinking, because I know exchange lists are expensive as hell. So I just feel like that money can, especially in the range where you are, you're a community takeover, you're a lower market cap. I feel like those funds can be used elsewhere in much better ways.
Exactly. Like for our project, every one of all of our coins are fully distributed, so we don't have a special pot anywhere. And so we keep getting this question: when are you going to be burning? And it's like, okay, if we were to burn even just 1%, we would have to buy back $70,000 worth of our token, and we're just burning 1% of the token. How much is that really going to improve the price? And so it's like, okay, with $70,000, we can get on a tier 2 exchange, maybe. How much is that going to help the price? And so because we are long-term thinkers, we have to, and because we're using the community funds, we have to think about these things. We have to use our money very effectively because, again, it's everyone's money. It's everyone's capital. And so what we see as the most effective use for the funds is to build up additional revenue sources and for marketing.
Sweet, I love it. And in terms of Solana, for the most part, Solama, that answers
I know, it rolls
most of
off
my
the tongue.
questions. Yeah, it really is. And I had a hard time even like typing it. I was trying to do like when I was trying to get, on deck screener, I was like Solama, like with two L's. I really couldn't do it. But what's going on, D?
I just want to say I'm very impressed. Like, I've seen you guys all around. I've heard all about you guys. But I'm very impressed that you guys hit all-time high all the way in March, it looks like, from looking at the chart. I mean, and you guys are still around and kicking it. The community's still there. Like, it's very impressive to see. Yeah, man, I'm just very impressed with how you guys are running things. And I'm definitely going to check you guys out even more later after this space.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I
Yeah,
mean,
your chart, looking at it, is like so much more stable than just so many other coins on Solana.
So I actually went through a lot of our holders recently because I'm planning a tiny reward airdrop for certain holders, and it's impressive to actually see the holders. Like, most of the people who bought the coin are still holding the coin. Like, they're not trading it or anything. Like, most people see the long-term potential of Solana because it just rolls off the tongue. It's synonymous with the blockchain Solana. It's a meme on the largest meme marketplace in crypto.
And I'm seeing here, was your all-time high like 120 million?
120 million, yes.
Yeah, that's actually insane. Well, sweet. That answers all my questions. Does anybody else have any? Well,
I
sweet.
don't have any questions. Very
Sweet.
impressed.
Well, Salama, thank you guys for coming up.
Thank
Any
you
other
very much for
closing
having us.
remarks?
We're happy to be here every time.
Well, sweet. Well, we